Now I built Startline and Claude Code to get an answer to a question that I can never get a straight answer to. What business should you start when you have $100 versus $1,000 versus $10,000 versus $50,000? Now those are four completely different starting points, right? But most business videos give all four of those people the exact same list. Now Startline compares the numbers from 974 founder videos, what the business made, what the owner kept, what it cost to start, and how long it took. And every single number goes back to the exact moment when the founder said it. Now I'm gonna run all four budgets through it, and by the end you'll know exactly what fits your budget, what gets ruled out, and why the exact same category just kept finishing first. Now you've seen these videos, the pressure washing guy doing 40 grand a month, the food truck guy who started from nothing, the founder who quit his job and now he makes more in a week than he made in an entire month. I've watched every single one of those also. But the major issue is that those numbers are literally impossible to compare. One person gives the revenue, another person then gives the profit. One tells you what it costs to start, the other one doesn't. One just gives you the best month that they've ever had and just leaves it there and doesn't tell you about their averages. Therefore, I was not about to just sit there and do all of this by hand and collect this data. And that is why I built something called Startline. This is Startline before we test the budgets. And here is exactly how we get the numbers into it. First, it finds literally every single founder video that might have a business number in it. That produced about 1,203 videos. Then my transcription pipeline turned every single interview into searchable text without losing the timestamps. Startline then goes through these transcripts and pulls the moment when a founder talks about revenue, the profit, the startup cost, or even the time. That gave me about 5,940 money quotes. Next, it separates the claims into actual fields. See, revenue doesn't go into the profit column. The best month that they've had doesn't automatically just become an average month. Weekly, annual, per day figures all get normalized to a monthly number so that we can compare all of these on screen. And the source never disappears. Click any figure on here and Startline opens the video the very second the founder said it. If the title in the interview differentiates instead of just taking the title at face value so that we don't get useless data. Now, once the ledger is built, this is the useful part. You enter your own capital, you enter your own hours, you enter your own income target, and whether or not you're working alone or you're working with a team, Startline does not change the founder's numbers. It reviews the categories that do not fit your starting point and reorders what remains. Now, watch what happens once I move the capital from $100 to $10,000. Now, collecting and cleaning this by hand will take multiple weeks at the very least. But once the Startline was built, the full run finished in one afternoon. Now, before the brackets, there's one problem in the data that we need to see. Most business videos are going to tell you the revenue, right? But I wanted to know what the owner actually kept within that situation. See, profit and revenue differentiate at extremely important points. Now, there are 41 restaurant interviews inside of the ledger. Guess how many said what they actually keep? Only 3 of them. Pressure washing has 8 interviews and only has 1 profit. Landscaping, 6 interviews, only 1 profit mentioned. The median stated revenue for pressure washing was about $32,000 versus $20,000. The median stated profit, $625. Software interviews are entirely different. Those founders say the profit without even flinching because it's often nearly the same number as the revenue. No inventory, no truck, no storefront, no large crew. That difference is going to matter in every single bracket. All right, now we have 4 different starting lines. Every single number that you're about to see is the median across real founders' numbers who made the list. Now, half did better and half did worse. And this is not guessed whatsoever. This is literally what they reported. Now, at $100, most of the table begins to disappear. Real estate, $35,000 at the median. E-commerce, $9,000. Both are obviously out. Reselling has a $100 median startup cost. But the results in the ledger are all over the place. From one kid making $700 on a good day, right? To a $4 million a year sneaker business that started with $50. Obviously, that's a lottery ticket that is not a plan that you should follow. The category that Startline ranks first at $100 is small software. Its category medians at about $100 to start. $32,000 versus $20,000. $3,200 a month in profit, and it takes 10 months to reach that number. At $1,000, the ranking barely changes. Now, what the extra money buys is speed, better tools, contractor help for the very thing that you cannot do on your own, and your first real test. Small software is still first, right? But niche sites are still the patience play. The extra $900 simply changes your pace. It does not change the pick that you get. But at $10,000, that is the very place that the list begins to change a lot. E-commerce then becomes reachable. $9,000 for a median startup cost and $20,000 a month for median profit. Now there is a real choice. Software asks you to build something that people will continue to pay to use. E-commerce lets you put the capital into a physical product, but it also gives you an inventory risk and cash tied up in stock. Therefore, Startline still does put software first on median profit, $32,000 versus $20,000. But e-commerce is now a serious option rather than something that your budget just can simply not afford. Now at $50,000, the entire table opens up, and real estate by and large just clears the gate. Now there is a real choice. $12,000 a month median profit and 36 months to the number. And now the restaurants, the trucks, and trade businesses are now in reach. Look at their profit column. See, they're mostly blank, right? The very businesses asking for the most money are unclear about what the owner actually keeps within that situation. And the category that StartLine ranks first at $50,000 is still small software. More Capital simply expanded the list, but it did not change the winner. The same exact category came first at every single budget, small software. Now I went back to the very interviews which were sitting behind those numbers. Angus Chang built a website which converts bank statements into spreadsheets. Now that is the product, right? In the interview, he says that he now makes $40,000 a month from it, and he runs it entirely by himself. Samuel Rondo was an optician with no coding background. He taught himself simply from free YouTube videos. In this interview, he says that he runs 3 SaaS apps that make him about $35,000 a month. The founder behind FormulaBot built the very first version without even writing any code during only 6 weeks of paternity leave. He later reported about $226,000 per month. Why does this roach just keep winning? It is the only business within this ledger where what you make and what you keep is basically the exact same number. No truck, no lease, no inventory, no crew. More of every dollar stays with the owner. Now, StartLine is just simply one example of the work that I do. I build systems around business questions that are valuable but are miserable to do by hand. Who is showing the signs that they need what I sell? What exactly should I charge based on all of the data out there? What do customers just keep asking for that nobody in the category offers? Now, the evidence is often public, right? But the hard part is finding it, cleaning it, turning it into something that a business can actually act on. Now, last month I built one huge for a cleaning company. It found them 39 prime customers with the evidence attached to every single one of them. For a cleaning company, it can read the entire city and find the very people who need the exact service that they're selling. For a roofer or a contractor, it can find every single permit that the city files and show exactly who is about to spend. For an online business, it can sort every review in the category, right? And find exactly what customers just keep asking for that nobody sells. StartLine simply uses that exact basic approach. Gather the evidence, structure it, keep the sources attached, and answer one commercial question. Comment workbench below and I will build this around your business.